When detectives opened the small leather-bound journal, they expected grief. Instead, they found prophecy. Every page spoke of fear, a woman who felt watched, who wrote about the man who wouldn't let me go. The last entry stopped mid-sentence. And 2 days later, her body was found in a shallow creek behind her home in Ashford, North Carolina. At first glance, it looked straightforward. The diary told her story. It gave police her voice. But as investigators would soon discover, some of those words weren't hers at all. Lily Warren was 26 when her life ended, a woman whose quiet strength made people feel safe around her. Born June 14, 1993, she grew up in Ashford, a small Appalachian town, with one traffic light and the kind of silence you only hear in mountain air. Her father, Mark, ran the local library. Her mother, Susan, taught English at the high school. Books filled their home. Lily began journaling at 9, first with sparkly gel pens, later with elegant cursive that curved like music. At 12, she wrote, "Today I saw the first snowfall. It looked like tiny pieces of quiet." That sentence still sits framed above her parents' mantel. After graduating from Ashford High, Lily earned a scholarship to study creative writing at Appalachian State University. Friends described her as shy but magnetic, someone whose empathy could fill a room without her saying much. Her college roommate, Dana Rowe, later said, "She was one of those people you could tell anything. She'd just listen and make you feel seen." When she came back home in 2018, Lily accepted a position as youth librarian, starting a journaling club for teenage girls. She told them, "Writing helps you understand the things that scare you." Those words, meant for healing, would one day haunt her case file. In October 2019, during Ashford's annual Fall Book Fair, Lily met a man named Evan Cooper. He was 32, handsome in an understated way, soft-spoken, confident. He told her he'd moved from Raleigh to start fresh. He admired her poetry collection, The Distance Between Quiet Things, and asked her to sign it. He lingered while she wrote. They exchanged numbers. Within weeks, they were inseparable dinners at the diner, long walks through Maple Park, Sunday mornings at the flea market, where she hunted for vintage journals. Her friends said she seemed happy, maybe even glowing. Her mother called him too perfect, but Lily brushed it off. At first, his attentiveness felt romantic. Evan texted her constantly. "Good morning at 6:30 a.m. Where are you? At lunch. Good night every evening." He brought her coffee at work, left notes on her windshield. "You make the world quieter." Yet beneath the gestures, there was an edge. If she didn't answer quickly, he'd send question marks. If she made plans with friends, he'd suddenly feel unwell. When she mentioned spending a weekend visiting college friends, he frowned. "Why would you need to go?" he asked. By February 2020, small cracks had become fault lines. Dana Rowe remembered one evening when they all went out for pie. Evan told Lily she didn't need dessert because she'd had too much sugar already. When she laughed, his expression hardened. Another night, he appeared at the library unannounced and stood by her desk for hours. When a coworker asked if he needed help, he said he was just keeping her company. Lily later told Dana she felt suffocated. Her journal entries began to change. One read, "He says he worries because he loves me, but love shouldn't feel like a leash." Another, weeks later, "Sometimes I wake up and he's watching me sleep. He smiles like it's sweet, but I can't breathe." Then something strange happened. One night she noticed her journal wasn't exactly where she'd left it, shifted a few inches on the nightstand. She dismissed it until she saw faint smudges on the edge of the page, as if touched by hands that weren't hers. She wrote, "I think someone's been reading this. Maybe him. Maybe I'm paranoid. But I feel watched, even when I'm alone." On Friday, May 8, 2020, Lily left work at 6:12 p.m., telling a coworker she was heading home to finish a story. Security cameras caught her car pulling into her driveway around 6:30. That was the last confirmed sighting. By 8 p.m., Her phone went dark. Saturday passed with silence. Her mother called, no answer. Sunday, her best friend came by. The car was still there. Lights off. At 7 p.m., police performed a welfare check. The door was unlocked. Inside, everything looked tidy, unforced. Her purse and keys lay on the table. The only thing out of place was an open journal on her desk. The last entry read, "If something happens to me, please tell them it was him." Detective Laura Benton led the case as a 19-year veteran who'd seen more tragedy than she cared to remember. "It was eerie," she said later. "No struggle, no signs of a break-in, just that diary staring back." And in that Provis Center, search teams scoured the wooded area behind Lily's house. Bloodhounds traced her scent toward the trail that led to Briar Creek, then lost it at the waterline. For 3 days, volunteers combed the woods. On May 13, a teenager helping with the search found a torn scrap of paper wedged between river rocks, its ink blurred by moisture. One sentence remained legible. He said, "No one would believe me." 2 hours later, a search party discovered her body partially submerged downstream, less than half a mile from home. She was wearing the same cardigan she'd worn to work. Mud filled her lungs. Her wrist showed defensive bruises. Her watch had stopped at 8:47 p.m. Forensic teams documented every inch of the scene. Near her body, they recovered her phone, missing its SIM card, and a second notebook wedged under a branch. It looked nearly identical to her usual journals. Same leather cover, same engraved initials, LW. But when investigators flipped through the pages, they noticed inconsistencies. The handwriting mimicked Lily's style, but lacked her rhythm. One entry read, "I forgive you, Evan. I know this was my fault. I shouldn't have made you so angry." Experts would later confirm those weren't her words. When questioned, Evan Cooper appeared calm, polite, even sorrowful. He told police he hadn't seen Lily since Friday afternoon. He claimed he'd gone home, watched a movie, then texted her goodnight. He produced a message from his phone. "Sleep well, Angel. I love you." Sent at 10:03 p.m. after her estimated time of death. Investigators checked records. The message wasn't sent from his device at all. It came from hers. He changed his story, saying she must have borrowed his phone earlier. But when detectives examined his forearms, they found fresh scratches. He blamed yard work. Digital forensics later uncovered a trail of deleted Google searches: how to mimic handwriting, buy leather journal identical cover, and how to make ink look old. He'd ordered 3 identical notebooks online months before. On May 17, 2020, police arrested him for Lily's murder. Handwriting specialists compared the 2 diaries side by side. Lily's authentic entries flowed smoothly, letters connecting naturally. The forged notebook showed hesitation tremors in each curve, unnatural pressure from someone trying to imitate. Forensic linguists analyzed phrasing. Lily often used sensory imagery, writing lines like, "The rain sounds like breathing." Evan's versions were literal, colder, almost defensive. Detective Benton said he wanted control even after she was gone. He tried to rewrite her into silence. In court filings, prosecutors revealed that Evan had drafted fake entries depicting Lily as volatile and apologetic. He planned to use the notebook as evidence of mental instability if questioned. It was, as one investigator described, a murder staged as a confession. The trial opened March 8, 2021, in Buncombe County Court. Reporters nicknamed it the Diary Case. Prosecutor Rachel Moore began simply, "This isn't just a murder. It's a story he tried to rewrite." Over the next week, jurors heard testimony from handwriting experts, digital analysts, and friends who recounted months of possessive behavior. DNA found beneath Lily's fingernails matched Evan's. His laptop contained drafts of fake entries he'd later transcribed by hand. The defense argued that Lily was depressed, that the diary was creative writing, not confession. They claimed she'd slipped in the creek during a breakdown, but the medical examiner dismantled that theory. The bruises on her wrists came from restraint, not impact. Mud in her lungs proved she was alive when submerged. When Evan testified, he wept, insisting it was an accident, that she'd fallen during an argument. Jurors noted how his tears came only when he spoke about himself. After 9 hours of deliberation, the jury found him guilty of second-degree murder, evidence tampering, and obstruction of justice. He was sentenced to 45 years in prison. After sentencing, Lily's parents faced reporters outside the courthouse. Susan's voice trembled. He tried to erase her, but he couldn't. Her truth survived him. They went home that night and began reading through her real journals, years of quiet reflections, dreams, and fears. They realized she'd written a passage 2 months before her death that eerily captured her fate. If someone ever tries to speak for me, I hope my words outlive theirs. In the following year, her family published a collection titled The Quiet Hours, The Real Writings of Lily Warren. All proceeds funded the Lily Project, a nonprofit teaching journaling as therapy for survivors of emotional abuse. Workshops spread across North Carolina, helping hundreds learn to express trauma through writing. At the Ashford Public Library, the community built a small reading corner in her honor. Above it hangs her handwritten quote, "Writing won't save your life, but it might help someone else understand theirs." Every June 14, the town gathers at Briar Creek for a candlelight vigil. People write letters to lost loved ones, place them in glass jars, and let the stream carry them away. Some say the current feels heavier there, as if holding memory. Detective Benton attends every year. She still keeps Lily's real diary on her desk. "It reminds me," she says, "that truth doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers from the page." In the end, Lily's story became more than evidence. It became testimony. Evan Cooper tried to rewrite her life, to forge her words into a weapon, but the ink told on him. Her diary didn't just hold clues. It held courage and the bravery of a woman who refused to disappear quietly. And if Lily's story moved you, please like, share, and subscribe to Evidence Uncovered. Every view helps raise awareness about the hidden forms of abuse that often go unseen. Behind every headline, there's a heartbeat. Behind every crime, a story that deserves to be told truthfully and in her own words.